Welcome to my channel, Ruby Stedman. Today I'll be teaching you how to knit this beautiful cape or mini poncho. They are really easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're gonna need to make them. Please, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get my notification each time I upload a video. These little capes or mini poncho that we're gonna do, they can be used for any time of the year, depend on the yarn that you use. If you use 100% cotton, medium 4, you can use in the summertime as well, and depend the thickness of the yarn. If it can be acrylic, don't have to be cotton, and it can be done with a medium 4, and it will be like this one, nice and light and thin. Then this one that they're bulky 5. You can do this for any time of the year. So it just depends on the yarn that you use, and they are very practical, easy and fast to do. To make this cape or mini poncho, if you wanted to make a bigger poncho, longer, you can do that as well. This is the yarn I'm gonna use, is Charisma from Loops and Thread, or Charisma. Is 100 grams, 100 meters, bulky 5. The color is Bright Pop and is 100% acrylic, and you're gonna need 2 of these if you're making the same size as mine. The crochet hook that you're gonna need is 4.5 millimeter. You're gonna need tapestry needle and scissor, a marker. The netting needles are 8 millimeter and they measure 60 centimeters long. You're gonna need a paper and pen or a pencil to keep track of your rows if you want to go for the rows, or you can go by measurements, but I recommend go by the row just in case you want to do another one, and then you know exactly what you did in this one, or you can watch the video again if you like. So I wanted to explain, I already made 2. So if you're making one the same size as mine, you can use 2, or if you want to make this bigger, then you have to use one of these bigger balls. These are exactly the same, but it's 250 grams and 250 meters. And let me explain you why. I already made one with the same type of yarn, but in different color. This one, look how nice this look. So I used 1 ball of yarn to create this part in here, and then I drop some stitches and create the bigger stitches here. So if you make one with the smaller ball of yarn and you want it longer, you'll end up with the seam of the knot that you're gonna do in one of the stitches, because when you lose it, you don't know where that's gonna be. So I recommend, if you want it bigger, to use just the same type of yarn but a bigger ball like this one. That way you don't end up with a seam. So look how beautiful this look. This is what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna do it with this color. Since I'm gonna make it the same size, I'm gonna use exactly 2 of the smaller ball of yarn. This one fit me, I'm a size large, and fit my daughter that she have bigger chest, and she is extra large in the top, so these fit both of us. And I think if you are smaller too, this will fit no problem, just a little bit more loose. So the other one that I made, because I made 2, the only thing that I made this one with loop and thread impeccable, and this one is medium 4. That's why the stitches are thinner, but the piece is smaller. You see, this one have I think it's 2 round extra longer than the other one, and still the other one is longer than this one. And I made this one with a 6.5 millimeter netting needle. This one, the length are 40 centimeters, so it's a little bit more difficult to work with this because it's too many stitches in the needle, and it get to, at least the first 2 rows is a little more difficult. After that is easy, easier to work. So if you want to make one with the thinner yarn, medium 4, with 1 ball, I made this one. I have this left over. So I just wanted to explain you a little bit before we start, just in case you want yours longer, or you want yours a little bit smaller, less bulkier, and you can use a medium 4 yarn. We're going to start by leaving a tail long enough for casting on 116 stitches. So if you want to work this piece in a straight needle, with a straight needle, you can do that. But if you have circular needle, I recommend to work with a circular needle. That way you don't get the seam at the end. So if you want to do it with a straight needle, I recommend 115 or 117, odd numbers. So for mine, since I'm going to work with circular needle, have to be 116. So I'm going to wrap around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to fold it in half. So 15 and 15 is 30. So I have enough for 30 in here. 30 and 30 is 60. Now let's go to that, and 60 and 60 is 120. So I will have more than enough to cast on my 116 stitches. I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to create a loop, and that loop will be my first stitch. So now this is the tail, and this is the one attached to the ball of yarn. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to start casting on my stitches. So I will meet you here when I have my 116 stitches on my needle. Once you finish, you're gonna do a knot here to secure the last stitch. And something very important that you have to make sure that these are not twisted, and here they look like they're twisted, but I already showed you 3 times and they're not. They're all like this, but since there are a lot of stitches here, they tend to curl, so they're not twisted. It's very, very important. Otherwise, if you do the first row and it's twisted, the second row you can do it. You will have to redo everything all over again. So you see, mine is not. This is tend to flip. So I'm gonna place my marker here, and we're gonna start working with purls. The entire piece is done in purl stitch. If you would like, you can do net, but the other 2 pieces I work them inside out. So it's up to you. I don't know if it will be the same if you work nets. So you're gonna purl every single stitches, and again, I'm repeating myself, but make sure that this is not twisted, because otherwise you have to start all over again. So you're gonna purl all the way around, purl, purl, purl. And something else, if you would like, you can do this with 120 stitches. That will work as well. Here I finished my first row. Now we're going to continue working with purl stitch until you finish the ball of yarn, if you're using the same as mine. So make sure when you're doing the last row that you have enough to finish that row without attaching the next ball. Okay, so it's something that you have to calculate the amount of yarn that you have left, if it's enough for one row or not. So for this one here, look how nice that looks. I did 20 rows, and in 21 I drop stitches. Let me make sure that is that. I wrote it down here. Yes, I did 20 row, and 21 I drop stitches, and that will create the length and the bigger stitch. So for this one I did 23 rows, and in 24 I dropped the stitches, and you see the difference in the length between the two of them, because the thicker yarn and the bigger knitting needle. So the crochet hook will be for doing this finishing at the end. That's a Solomon knot, and here and here and here, and it looks really nice at the end of the piece. So that's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna purl every single row, and the measurement is around 15-16 centimeters long. Depend on the length that you want your piece. If you're working with one of these bigger ball, that you don't have one of these to guide yourself, so you will do, if you want it longer than mine, you will do more length, like 20 centimeters long. But for mine, I just gonna get myself a ball of yarn around 20 row, give or take. So I will let you know. But every single row is purl. You're gonna purl every single stitch. So this is a very easy and fast piece to make. Any beginner can make this. So I will meet you here when I'm done with my piece, and I will give you the measurement as well. I have this part done already, so I'm gonna measure just in case you want to go by measurement. And I measure exactly 16 centimeters, and I use one ball of yarn. You see, this is what I have left, that I don't have enough to make another full round. So now I'm going to attach the next ball of yarn, and I'm going to show you how you're going to do the next row, that we're going to drop stitches. That way we create this part nice and big. So in this row, we're going to purl the first one, and we're going to drop the next stitch. You're going to purl and drop a stitch, and purl again and drop the next stitch. So this is what we're going to do in this entire row. You're going to be purling one and dropping one, but you have to make sure that you only drop one stitch, not two, because if you just drop two, you'll have a big gap in that side of the piece. And if you purl two at the same time without dropping a stitch in between, those two stitches don't gonna go bigger like the rest, so it will be uneven. So you have to be patient in here, and you have to be very careful when you purl one and drop the next one. You have to make sure each time you look in between the one that you drop and the next one to make sure you're supposed to drop one, if you know what I mean. once you finish that row, it will look like this, and later we're going to be pulling this one and it will make this part bigger. But now we're going to continue working. And here, so now you're going to purl for 9 to 10 row. We have 58 stitches here, and after we do those rows, we're going to decrease 6 to 52. At first you're going to purl 9 to 10 rows. If you want a little bit more, go ahead and you can do a little more. We just started a new ball of yarn, and we're going to have some leftover, so you can do a few more rows in this part. Making sure that I don't drop an extra stitch here, because when I turn it around, one of them came out. Yeah, it's perfect. So I will meet you here when I have those around 10 rows done, okay, or round of pearls. It's always pearl. So I did here 10 rows, and that's what we done so far. Remember, we are working outside in, or inside out, sorry. So, and here is what we done so far, this part, and now we did this one, and now we're gonna work on this border for the color. So in here I decreased 6 stitches to have 52 to do a 2 by 2 border to net to purl or rib stitch, 2 by 2. So if you like, you can decrease only 2 and you'll have 56, and that will give you the multiple of 4. You have to have multiple of 4 to do this part. But for mine, I'm gonna decrease 6 to have 52. So around every 8 stitches, I will decrease 1 to spread them even around. And it will be like this. So if you would like, you can do this wider. It's up to you, but I like it like this. First, I'm gonna do 2 purl, and this is the row of decrease. And the next 2 I'm gonna do together. Now I'm gonna do 8 purl, and the next 2 together, that will be the second decrease. You have to keep count how many decrease, because you only have to decrease 6 stitches to have 52. Now we're gonna continue with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now the next 2 I'm going to do them together, and this is the second decrease. So I'm going to continue working 8 purl, and 9 and 10 will be together to do a decrease, and make sure that you do 6 decrease and you count 52 stitches on your needles. I finished that row of decrease, so now we're gonna do a rib 2 by 2. So far what we have done, we start with 116 stitches and we did 20 row of purl. In row 21 we drop stitches, so we purl 1, drop 1, purl 1, drop 1, and then we did 10 row of purl, and then in the next row we did a decrease. And now what we're going to do is 5 to 6 row I'm going to start with two purl, that in the other side will be net, and I'm going to do 2 net, that in the other side will be purl. Again, 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net, and you're going to finish with 2 net, okay? And then you're going to net the net and purl the purl for 5 to 6 rows. So I finished that first row with 2 net because I started with 2 purl. So now again I'm gonna do 2 purl, 2 net. We're gonna net the net and purl the purls for 5 to 6 rows. I finished that row and I did 5. Now we don't gonna need the marker, we're gonna cast off in the next row. It's like a 6 of this border because we're gonna work the stitch as we see them. So you're gonna purl the first one nice and loose and purl the second one. This you have to do nice and loose, that way it's not too tight when you pass your head. So now you have 2 net, and you're gonna net the next one and pass this one on top of that one, net the next one and pass this one on top of that one, and like that you start casting off your stitches. And again you have to purl, you're going to purl this one and you're going to pass this one on top of that one and purl the next one and pass this one on top of that one, and nice and loose. Like that you're going to continue all the way to the end, and I will meet you here to finish your piece. I have one stitch left, so we're going to remove our needle. We're done netting. So we're going to cut a tail long enough to pass in through that loop to secure our work and to even the top, because remember when we work with circular needle, the end of the last row is uneven, so you have to even that up. So now with my tapestry needle, I'm going to show you how I do mine, and then we're going to be working in the fun part of the piece. I'm going to measure it for you, that way you see how much you measure before we pull those stitches and after we done so. I measure 29 centimeters long. So now we're going to pull these stitches. That's when the fun begins. Now we're going to start pulling our stitches and have fun doing it. So you see the piece grow and grow and grow each time you pull your stitches. So make sure that you do it like this in the round, that you don't do one too long to the end, because otherwise the stitches will be uneven, and this way you will have all the stitches the same size. So you're going to continue doing this all the way around and around and around. So have fun with it. Now you have to finish the border, and here you see all the stitches don't go until the end because the last one it tends to tight a little bit, but you have to open them up like this. So that little piece, look how big it is, and look how beautiful and soft and gorgeous look. So you can make this for any occasion, for any time of the year. Even you can make this with a yarn with some sparkly yarn inside. That way it's good for nighttime, for a party. You can make these for work, for the office, for any occasion, except for the hot summer day. Any other occasion that is a cool evening, cool day, you can wear these. So I'm gonna do this all over. You see, I have quite a few to do, and then we'll meet here to work our border with the crochet hook. So we are almost done. You see this one tend to get tighter at the end, so you have to go and, but I love it. I love this color. And here you have to be careful when you get to the tail part, because now you don't have the knot. Even though you did the knot, you don't have the knot in here. So if you pull this out, this stitch will be undone. So you leave it there, and when we come back, we're gonna work with the crochet hook. I'm gonna attach, let me see here, I'm gonna attach the other yarn to this one, and we're gonna continue working with this one. Okay, just pull this a little, and that will go to the stitch in there. You see? If you like, you can leave it with a border like this, you know, but I prefer mine like this, with the 2 row with a crochet hook, because it gives a better finish, and it drape better when you put it on. This gives a little bit of weight at the end, and it looks really nice. So now we're going to work with a crochet hook. So now I'm going to attach these two ends, and a coincidence that they're the same color. This is the one, the little tail that was left on the piece from the beginning, and this is the new yarn from the ball. So I'm going to do a knot. This is the one from the ball in my right hand, and this one for the piece in the left hand. So the one in my right hand go under this one. I cross them like that. I put my thumb in here to secure those two in place. I wrap this one around my thumb and in between those two strands, and I hold it here, and I pass this one from the right backwards to the loop, and I'm gonna grab these two ends, and I'm gonna pull, you see, the one from the right side. That's the one that tight the knot. This make it nice and secure, and pull as tight as you can. And this is very secure in here, and you can cut it as short as you like, and that's not going anywhere. And like that, you have your little knot. And now we're going to start with a crochet hook. So we're going to start with a crochet hook, and here, this is a strand of yarn. I don't have a slip knot, so I'm going to pass it through this loop. I'm going to pull the yarn through to create the loop, chain one, and do a single crochet in here. Now pull your yarn to create a long loop for the Solomon knot, and we're going to do a half a knot. So you come here, you hold it in place, and you're doing this third strand of yarn, a single crochet, and you come to this side in here, and you're going to do a single crochet, and try to make the Solomon stitch the same length as these stitches. That way these don't gather at the end. You want it nice and loose. Again, you're going to pull that loop nice and long. You're going to hold it right here, and then you're going to do your single crochet, and then you come here. You see in this loop in here at the stitch, you do the single crochet. Again, you're gonna pull, and that's the knot in there, you see, and you don't want to see that at the end of this. And do a single crochet. You're gonna come here and do your single crochet, and you see they're the same length. I will show you one more time. Pull, you see I hold it right here to separate the back strand. That's where we're doing the single crochet, and then you come here, you see, and that stitch in here, and you do your single crochet, and like that you're going to continue with this row. And then after that I will show you how to finish this row. I start the next one, that will be the last one, and then we have our piece done. I'm going to finish the first row with a slip stitch and the first single crochet. Now you're going to chain one, and in the same space you're going to do a single crochet. Now you're going to pull and create a Solomon knot, or half a Solomon knot. 2 is the complete Solomon knot. But you're going to do one, and then you're going to do another one, but a little bit smaller than the first one. And then you're going to come here to the single crochet, and you're going to do a single crochet. And I create the little design at the tip of the stitch. Again, you're going to do your other one, the same length around this one. You're going to do the single crochet. You're going to skip this single crochet, and you go to the next one and do a single crochet. You see, you have the Solomon knot with a little peacock at the tip. So again, you do your Solomon knot with a single crochet, another one a little smaller. You come here to the single crochet and do a single crochet, and you create the next tip. And again, single crochet. You skip this one and then go to the next one and do a single crochet. And this is what you're going to do all the way around your piece. You're going to finish here, and then you're going to cut the yarn and lose the tail, and you've done your piece, your beautiful design. I will show you one more time. So you're going to elongate the loop, and you're going to do your single crochet in here. Again, you're going to do another one, but a little shorter than the first one. And you're going to come here and a single crochet. You're going to do another single crochet. You're going to elongate that stitch again. That's a single crochet. And then you're going to come here and you're going to skip the single crochet and go to the next one and do a single crochet. Look how nice that looks. I finish here in the first single crochet with a slip stitch. I chain one, pass the yarn through, and I cut it. I had to lose that tail, and this is the amount of yarn that I have left from those two balls of yarn. Something that I wanted to explain, just in case you want to do this smaller or bigger. The stitches in this part are when I cast on my stitches, there are multiple of 2. That way, when you do this border, is even. Because when I did this one was my first one, and I did 114 stitches. And here, when I did the border, you see this one don't have that single crochet in between. It's just between those two. One of those is smaller. You don't see it, you know, but still, this way they are the same distance and they're even. And the other you don't see it as much because it's a thinner yarn, but in this one I think you'll see that. So something else is, remember this multiple of 2, divisible by 2. That way you can have that finish like that. And in here, when you decrease the stitches, you have to make sure that the amount of stitches that you have left are multiple of 4. That way if you start with 2 net, you finish with 2 purls. And it's even. You can put this on and don't have any front and back, and I really recommend circular needle because you don't get any seam in any part of the piece. So you can throw it on. If you don't place one of these in the piece, you don't have front or back. So now I'm going to put it on and I will show you the end result. And something else, remember, if you're making this big, you'll have to use one of these, that way you don't get any seam in this part. Something else I wanted to mention before I go is that when you're doing this part, that you drop the stitches, don't start, I know it's, I get really anxious, I want just to see how it look, pulling the stitches. I don't recommend to do that. I recommend to wait until you finish your piece, that way the stitches here are nice and even. This one was the first one that I did, and I started doing that, you know, when I drop the stitches, I start pulling them, you know, all the way, and then some of the stitches are smaller and some are bigger than others. It's uniform. So this way they all are even. So wait until you finish your piece and follow exactly the same as I show you in the video when I started pulling, just a little bit at a time, you know, all the way around with patience, and they will be perfect. And this one that I did 114, when I dropped the stitches, I was left with 57. You see, 57 is no multiple of 2, that's why I'm short 1 in here. And in this one that I did 116, when I dropped the stitches, I had 58, so that was perfect. It's in that's the number that you have to have even when you drop the stitches, that the stitches left, they are multiple of 2. Well, this is the end result, and I love these pieces. They're really comfortable to wear, and you can make for any time of the year, and they look amazing. So now I will show you the other 2. This one measures 50 centimeters, almost 20 inches. You see, this one and the other one, they are exactly the same. Yes, the difference is the color. I use the same type of material. Now I'm going to show you the one with a little bit thinner yarn. This is the other one that is done with a thinner yarn, a little more rows, and you see it's shorter, it's smaller. That's the thickness of the yarn. And this one measured 43 centimeters or 17 inches. But it still look nice, and it feel lighter, like for more warmer weather. It'll be perfect. Well, I hope you guys like it, and give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And if you make this piece and you want to send me some pictures, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Sterman, or you can find me in my Instagram, Ruby Sterman Crochet. Please share my video with friends and family, that way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.